and welcome to Cultural Magazine, where we bring you the latest cultural events taking place around the nation. Let's go take a look at today's episode.
Minister of Culture Dr. Ines Abdedaim recently witnessed the opening of the distinguished theater play The Will. The show completes the ministry's strategy of memorializing national symbols and the beginning of the production of a series of performances to introduce the nation's martyrs' heroic works. The show comes within the Know Your Army initiative adopted by the Artistic House of Theatre to be performed on the National Theatre stage, downtown Cairo, Ataba. The Minister of Culture also praised the idea of the show and the performance of its heroes who attended the performance along with a number of cultural government figures. She hailed the positive values it carries because it is important for our children to get to know our great history, adding that the arts, especially theater, is able to document the heroism of our sons of police and the army. Theater works also have a role in instilling the national identity among the public. The show will then travel to different governorates and universities, and the play was written by Ayman Salama and directed by Khalid Galal.
احنا اللي بنوضح للناس لما تلتبس عليهم الحقائق.
The presentation is about the story of a martyr, Muhammad Rashad, one of the brave armed forces fighters who was martyred in Rafah in 2015 with the participation of a group of Egyptian theater actors, starring Ahmed Fouad Salim, Samira Abdelaziz, along with a number of distinguished actors.
اسمه الشهيد عمره من اليوم ابتدى وسط الملايكة ريف جديد.
مصر أمنا اللي نفديها بحياتنا.
The Luxor International Painting Symposium recently kicked off its 13th edition. The event is organized by the Cultural Development Fund sector in cooperation with the Luxor Governorate body. Head of the fund sector, Dr. Fatih Abdul Wahab, said that this edition is attended by 8 Egyptian artists, in addition to artists from Sudan and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as well as 12 youth of the Forum Workshop. Abdul Wahab added that this symposium is a great chance to show the importance of Egypt's soft power in achieving its leadership in civilization and cultural significance. The 42nd edition of the Cairo International Film Festival opened this week amid strict safety measures against the global pandemic, with tens of activities taking place at the Cairo Opera House and other venues for another week. Director of the festival, producer, and scriptwriter Mohammed Hifzi expressed his happiness and pride at what the festival team accomplished in this edition, stressing that he had not lost hope that it would take place in its usual form on the ground despite challenges. The head of the festival, Hifzi, promised audiences to present a distinguished program, all of whose films were carefully selected, indicating that this year the programming team managed to include 84 films of the latest and most important productions of 2020, including 20 films in their first international screenings. This comes in addition to 10 Egyptian films that won the most prestigious awards in major festivals during 2020, praising at the same time the great success achieved year after year by the platform Cairo Days of Cinema Industry, and the support it provides to the film industry, whether through workshops, lectures, and seminars, or with material support through the Cairo Film Forum, which this year exceeds $250,000. Hifzi was keen to thank all the local and international media for their continuous support and inclusive coverage of the Cairo Film Festival. The opening ceremony included the honoring of scriptwriter Wahid Hamid with the Golden Pyramid for Lifetime Achievements, which also went to the British writer and director Christopher Hampton, as well as the artist Mona Zeki with the Fatin Hamama Award for Excellence.
شكرا، مش هطول والله. أنا مفيش حد أنا اشتغلت معاه من سواء حد ورا الكاميرا أو قدام الكاميرا ما خدتش منه استفادة فوق العادي.
Also during the ceremony, audiences witnessed the appearance of the actor Ashraf Abdelbaki and a new song by the singer Tamer Hosni.
هنعيش كأننا في الأفلام افتحوا من تاني الستارة وملوا الدنيا بالإضاءة وافرشوا 100 سجادة حمراء هنعيش كأننا في الأفلام وكل واحد بطل في قصة حياته.
As for the jury for competitions and prizes of this year's festival, it is headed by the Russian director Alexander Sokolov. The festival selected the opening ceremony the British-French film The Father, directed by Florian Zeller, in its first screening in the Arab world and Africa, which is co-starring the great director Anthony Hopkins, who is one of the most prominent actors in the world, and English Oscar-winning actress Olivia Colman.
We're here at the Russian Cultural Center, where we're celebrating some people here at the Cultural Center. They have received certificates of appreciation for their work in bridging cultures between both nations, whether through studying or through the media. Let's go take a look.
أنا الحقيقة بوجه النهاردة الشكر للمركز الثقافي الروسي على الاحتفالية السنوية.
I would like to thank the Russian Cultural Center for their annual celebration of the Egyptian graduates and media personalities. I would also like to thank all the graduates who have added to the Russian-Egyptian relations. Despite the coronavirus pandemic, the students have done an exceptional job in attending classes and panels online. We also see a deepening of the Egyptian-Russian relations, especially on the level, where we see a year of increased cooperation between both countries, which is going to continue on until the end of 2021. I would also like to thank the media for shedding light on the Russian Cultural Center and increasing awareness among Egyptians about the possibilities. It's a very cheerful celebration, and we are so happy that you and everyone here attended this. I would like to thank the Russian Cultural Center for their annual celebration of the Egyptian graduates and media personalities. I would also like to thank all the graduates who have added to the Russian-Egyptian relations. Despite the coronavirus pandemic, students have done an exceptional job in attending classes and panels online. We also see a deepening of the Egyptian-Russian relations, especially on the presidential level, where we see a year of increased cooperation between both countries, which is going to continue on until the end of 2021. I would also like to thank the media for shedding light on the Russian Cultural Center and increasing awareness among Egyptians about the possibilities. It's a very cheerful celebration, and we are so happy that you and everyone here attended this event. I hope that 2021 sees a leap in relations between Russia and Egypt.
The relation between Egypt and Russia is a very good relation, and it was very good at the time of the 60s and the beginning of the 70s, and it's returning back these days to be in very good relations at the time of our president today. And at a level of cultural relations, there is many doctors and students studied in the Russian universities and institutes, and they come back and they give a good relations between and Russia, and especially that these people and the students lived in Russia, and they have good relations between Russian people and the students, and this is giving back to the good relation between the Egyptian people and Russian people.
Russian culture is very rich in terms of arts, literature, plays, and everything we do with culture. They are leaders in this. They have schools, they are very prestigious and historical. Also here in Egypt, obviously, we have a rich culture as well. We have a culture and history since the Pharaonic times, through to the Islamic era, and up until modern times or today. We have a lot of cooperation in different areas, including the Opera House, as well as joint economic projects and cultural projects. In my opinion, cultural exchange between us is not just in the arts and literature, but also in education and everything that builds a person's character and society.
It's a pleasure to be here in this event. It's great to have and meet all the colleagues in the relations between Egypt and Russia. I think the relation between the two countries is, for history, is a long time ago, and we have so many things in common between the two countries, and of course, in not the culture part, it's in many parts, like political and economic and so many things, and maybe in the army and something like this. So we have the pleasure to be in the Russian Council here, and I think it's the beginning of new some kind of yes, cooperation, and because we have celebrating the Russian-Egyptian year in so many things, especially the cultural things.
So how do you see the cultural relations between Egypt and Russia? Do you see similarities between Russians and Egyptians generally?
Yes, I think in my point of view is the culture. The culture is similar to each other. We love to have some kind of having our culture and our history in the culture, in the dancing and some kind of the singing and so many things in the opera and so many things, so many parts in the culture. You can find the similar between the two countries, and I think the people is also in common in the family things, in the culture things, the way they have to live in Russia and the countries in countryside like Egypt, and so many in common between two countries, and this is the magnificent between the relation.
How do you see the significance of today's events?
Today's events is I have the honor to be here in this events. I think it's they having these events every year, and they have so much the friends and the old Russian people, and also the Egyptian who learning in the universities in Russia and something like this. So the people can meet and some group here and have some kind of memory to each other. This is the soul of the two countries, is celebrating the relations between the people, not only the country and the political thing.
طبعا شعور جميل. أجمل لحظة بتمر على الإنسان هي لحظة التكريم.
This is an amazing feeling. The best feeling anyone can have is when they are honored. Also today's honoring has a special significance. I was here attending the 75th anniversary of the Russian-Egyptian relations. I worked for 4 well-established media companies, including, of course, my home, the Egyptian State TV, also known as Maspero, or as it is known today, the Egyptian Radio and Television Union. I also worked in the Kuwait State TV. I worked in the United Arab Emirates TV channel, in addition to a private media channel. What I can tell you is Russia has always been known to be Egypt's friendly nation, a country that has vision and has a circumspection when it comes to making decisions, important features in politics. But today's celebration is far from politics and economics. Today is about people and honoring people's efforts, a chance to be recognized.
مستر أليكسي تيفانيان رئيس المركز الثقافي الروسي هو بيتكلم إنه المشروع القادم هيكون اجتماعي.
You remember that Mr. Alexei Tefanyan, the head of the Russian Cultural Center, said that the next project will focus on socialization. Today, we celebrate the Russians who graduated from Egypt and the Egyptians who studied in Russian universities. This is a huge celebration. I would like to thank them all for their efforts. The next project will focus on people, culture and society. Mr. Alexei, in his speech, invited all civil society organizations in Egypt to cooperate with them in this field. There may be joint projects that start by the end of 2020, the beginning of 2021.
I'm so happy to be here today because Russia is Egypt, Egypt is Italy. All the world is one after Corona. We are all human. So I song was Russian and Italian. The most famous song also Mio after Russian song called Yobov Stavzhikh Libe for Lara Fabian. But today I was singing it by the Arabian illustration, the Arabian singing to introduce something new. Basmatri Niv glaza ti prostimnea sajaleo ya luploti pia ya pella ni brava ya tapoy belleyo o dirjat nismagli mi ostalli namoshin todna ya safsi modna ti poi mi bezlovi ne shifoni nojna.
You're still watching Cultural Magazine. Stay tuned for more here on Cultural Magazine and the latest happening.
The Cairo Symphony Orchestra performed a concert led by Maestro Ahmed Farrag with the participation of violin player Abeda Ahmed. The program includes selections from the dramatic symphony Romeo and Juliet, which is inspired by the original play Romeo and Juliet by late legendary English writer William Shakespeare. Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy written by William Shakespeare early in his career about two young star-crossed lovers whose death ultimately reconciled their feuding families. It was among Shakespeare's most popular plays during his career, along with Hamlet, one of his most frequently performed plays. William Shakespeare was an English poet, playwright, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest English writer and the world's greatest dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. Romeo and Juliet play by William Shakespeare, written about 1594 to 96 and first published in an unauthorized quarto in 1597. An authorized quarto appeared in 1599. substantially longer and more reliable. A third title based on the second was used by the editors of the first folio of 1623. The characters of Romeo and Juliet have been depicted in literature, music, dance, and theater. The appeal of the young and heroine, the Montages and the Capulets, respectively, are implacable enemies in such that they have become, in the popular imagination, the representative type of star-crossed lovers.
This brings us to the end of this episode of Cultural Magazine. Hope you enjoyed and stay for more on Nile TV.